going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my Strikeforce Diaz versus Cyborg predictions, taking place on the 29th from the HP Pavilion in San Jose on Showtime. My apologies for not putting up the year-end awards video. A lot of other individuals put some videos up in regards to that, and were pretty much spot on with what I was going to pick. That week I had some computer issues, some camera issues, got that fixed. So I apologize about that. At the end of this video, I'll talk about the Strikeforce Heavyweight Tournament. Everyone asked me to talk about that, so I'll cover that briefly. Let's go over this card, work our way from the bottom up to the top. Roger Gracie versus Trevor Prangley at 205. Roger Gracie looked very impressive, at least to me, in his last fight against Kevin Randleman. Was able to show some, improved boxing with his hands. Used a good jab, was able to capitalize off of a mistake that Randleman made and caught Randleman in a rear naked choke. This is definitely a step up in competition for him. Trevor Prangley is a legit guy as far as his wrestling is concerned. Good kickboxing. Likes to use the clinch a lot. Prangley will try to come in, I think, in this fight with a similar game plan as we saw with Randleman. He may try to mix in some takedowns towards the ends of, the end of the rounds to try to solidify that. But one of the things that Prangley has a tendency to do, and it's just minor mistakes, but he tends to make mistakes with his footwork and completing takedowns. And against a guy like Gracie, if he makes any type of a mistake technically, even exchanging in the pocket, Gracie can either create a clinch situation, look for a single or a double leg, try to get him down, and look for a dominant position. While I want to pick Prangley in this fight because I think stylistically, if he can keep this standing, use good footwork, move side to side, use the jab, and look effective in the pocket, this is a fight that he should win stylistically. However, back against, I'm trying to remember the fight, I think it was against Tim Kennedy, Prangley, got caught in a mistake there and ended up getting subbed. And he cannot, in this situation, Roger Gracie, we'll end up talking about Jacare here in a few minutes further up on the card, but Roger Gracie is one of, if not the best, one of the best grapplers in the world as far as, a BJJ player is concerned in Abu Dhabi, but, also as well as MMA. And, I just see Prangley making a mistake in this one and getting caught. And I think that, Prangley will look good in the first two rounds. He'll be able to do, a similar game plan to what I'm mentioning as far as keeping it standing, using a good jab, moving side to side, some good leg kicks, trying to throw Roger's timing off. But I think he's going to make a mistake. Gracie's either going to be able to clinch up or get him down with a single leg, get a dominant position. I think he's going to sub him, so that's going to be my pick. I'm going to say Roger Gracie, third round submission. Again, Prangley stylistically, he should take this one, but just in some of his fights, I've seen some technical errors, and against a guy like Gracie, especially the way that he transitioned on Randleman, if Prangley makes a simple mistake in this fight, he will get caught, and I think that is what's going to happen, so that's going to be my pick. Herschel Walker versus Scott Carson. Scott Carson's been out for quite some time. I think he's been out for almost 9 years, had some back problems, pretty good hands, pretty good wrestler, fought back. One of the earlier WECs, I remember seeing one of his fights. He's an all-around, pretty well-rounded guy. The layoff, though, and the amount of time he's been away, I think that's going to play a huge part in this fight. The other thing you got to consider, Herschel Walker, being a Taekwondo black belt, number one. His hands have improved vastly. His boxing's gotten better. His footwork's gotten better. His offensive and defensive wrestling, his grappling, all these things he's slowly gotten better with. And if he's able to keep this standing, and sprawl, keep Carson, from clinching with him or going for a single or a double, I think Herschel's going to catch Carson. I'm going to say second round TKO for Herschel Walker. I think the layoff for Carson's going to be a huge factor in this fight, and I think Herschel will be able to take it. So that's going to be my pick. Herschel Walker, second round TKO. All right, on to the next fight, co-main event, Renato Jacare Souza versus Robbie Lawler for the middleweight title. We know what Jacare's good at. One of the best, if not, arguably the best grappler in mixed martial arts. Solid wrestling, has really improved with his hands and his boxing. transitions very well from, throwing some good 1-2s to clinching or going for the single or the double very efficiently. Robbie's had some issues, and I think this is going to be one of the factors that'll play into this fight with the clinch. We saw that against Jake Shields, and while Robbie has good defensive wrestling, he's got good takedown defense. He's shown some deficiencies there. There's times that he's technical, there's times that he brawls. He's got solid hands, knockout power, good boxing, but I think that Jacare is going to be able to last long enough on the feet, with moving side to side, not getting caught into any exchanges, and I think he'll be able to either clinch, which I think this is where it's going to take place, either clinch or get Robbie down off of a takedown, off of a mistake, with Robbie overcommitting in the pocket. But I think Jacare will close the distance, look for a clinch situation, get Robbie down, and look for a sub. And I think he's going to get it. I'm going to say a late first round submission for Jacare. I think he'll be able to get it down, pass Robbie's guard. Jacare's very, very crafty when he gets on top, and is able to pass through guys' guards like it's nothing. He loves head and arm chokes, loves arm bars. I think he'll get an arm bar on Robbie. That's going to be my pick. Ronaldo Jacare Souza via first round submission to retain the middleweight title. If Robbie can keep this standing, avoid the clinch, and be more technical, I could see Robbie being able to pull this one out, but I think stylistically it's a bad matchup for him. I think Jacare will be able to get it down, pass his guard, and get a sub, so that's going to be my pick. All right, on to the main event, Nick Diaz versus Cyborg Santos, Evangelista Cyborg Santos. Both these guys, BJJ black belts. Nick Diaz, unorthodox style with his boxing, likes to throw the pitter-patter, shots in that style. That really doesn't necessarily hurt you right off the bat, but long-term throughout the fight, that damage accumulates, and it does play a part. The other thing that it does, and we saw that against KJ Noons the second time around, but it really does throw timing off. Guys cannot settle down, they can't plant their feet, they can't really gauge in time their combos or their counters inside the pocket, and Diaz is very, very good at that, both him and his brother Nate. Cyborg looked very good against Zaromskis in the last fight. The welterweight move for him, it looks like it's been a little beneficial, it's been better beneficial-wise to him. He's looked quicker, his hands have looked a little better, his gas tank looked a little better as well, which is, a big thing, I think, which usually when you see a guy that's had some issues up at the higher weight class and he cuts down, you usually expect some more cardio issues, but not the case here. He has looked better. His gas tank has looked considerably better, I think at least. And the thing with this is I think Cyborg, while he looked quicker against Zaromskis, he had excellent footwork. He's gonna have a tough time trying to time Diaz. Nick is very, very tough when he throws those combos, and he's constantly throwing combinations. It's very, very hard to time. If Cyborg's able to move side to side, use some leg kicks, try to employ a good game plan of not allowing Nick to get in close and throw those combinations, Cyborg could be in for a good night, or looking for a takedown and trying to get some ground and pound and try to stay out of some subs from Nick. But I think Nick's going to be able to do enough standing, as well as if it does go down to the ground, or if he gets Cyborg down, and looks for some dominant positions. I don't see a stoppage for either one of these guys. For whatever reason, I'm not sure why. I think that Cyborg has been crafty enough as of late. And I think that he's, again, like I said, he's looked better at welterweight. He's pretty, crafty off the bottom, and he scrambles a lot. So I don't know if Nick's going to be able to necessarily get a sub on him. I think he'll be able to get some dominant positions. If Cyborg is willing to just give up the position, sure, Nick could be able to catch him in something, but I don't see that happening. I think this one's going to go to a unanimous decision, and I think Nick's going to take this one. Actually, I'm going to change my pick. I'm going to say Nick Diaz, late 4th round TKO. Never mind. I think he'll be able to stop it. I think Nick will get a TKO. I think he'll wear Cyborg down and be able to catch him. Right on the spot. Change my pick. Look at that. So anyways, those are my picks for the Strikeforce Diaz versus Cyborg card. Let me know what you think. Leave some comments, constructive, negative, positive. I know I flip-flop a little bit on that main event with that pick, but initially that was what my thought process was, and then thinking over it again, I think Diaz will get a TKO on that one. So, real quick, just my thoughts on the Strikeforce heavyweight tournament. Of course, the brackets are broken up. Fedor will be taking on Bigfoot Silva. Overeem and Verdum will be taking on each other on one side of the bracket. On the other side, you got Arlovsky, Haritonov, Barnett, and Rogers. I think we'll see Josh Barnett in the finals. I also think that we'll either see Overeem or Fedor in the finals. I think those two are going to meet in the next round, and I think Haritonov and Barnett will meet in the semifinals. And then in the finals, we will see Barnett and either Overeem and Fedor, depending how that one plays out. The reserve bout, in case anyone gets injured, is Shane Del Rosario versus LeVar Johnson. Both those guys have looked pretty impressive on challengers, so I think it is a legitimate case to put those guys there in case somebody does get hurt. They both, I think, deserve that. You know, I think the only thing, my thoughts, I was talking to Carson, a couple guys a few weeks back on this, is that, you know, the only thing that I've had reserved thoughts on has been with Josh Barnett and how he's looked in the past. You know, with some of the allegations with steroids, not training properly, you know, not looking 100% in fights. You know, and I think against a guy like Rogers, you know, Barnett does have a tendency, and he has before admitted in the past, he's overlooked guys. And Brett Rogers, while, you know, I think that Josh is better in every aspect of MMA, you know, Brett Rogers is a guy that can come in and, you know, I don't want to say necessarily shock or be better than him, but surprise him in some areas. We saw what, you know, he did against Fedor with getting him down and, you know, showing some impressive offensive improvements with his wrestling. Of course, didn't look very good against Overeem, of course, but regardless of that, I think Barnett, though, should come in and should take this seriously. I think he should be able to work his way to the finals, and I think we'll see the winner of Overeem Fedor there as well from the semifinals. And we could have a shake-up with this. We could have some upsets, which will make it interesting. But this is definitely good. It's good that Strikeforce did this. It adds a little bit of luster. Should Overeem beat Verdum, beat Fedor, and beat Barnett, I think that he should be considered the #1 heavyweight in the world. Vice versa, if Fedor beats Silva, Overeem, and then Barnett, I think Fedor should be right there at 2 or 1. Overeem, if he wins in that succession, I think with what he's done recently, I think that should bump him up. So those are my thoughts. So let me know what you guys think on that. This should be good. I'm looking forward to this. I'll be back coming up here soon. We've got some more cards coming up. Let's take a look at what's coming up, and I'll let you know a couple videos I'll be doing. We've got Silva versus Belfort coming up on the 5th. We've got the Fedor Silva card, the M1 Strikeforce co-promoted on the 12th of February. And then February 27th, Penn versus Fitch for UFC 127. So all those cards I'll be back to cover. Those of you that didn't get to see the Fight for the Troops card, make sure you check that out. I'm finishing watching those fights today. So far, so good. My apologies for not getting a video up on that. And make sure I'll be having a video, which you'll probably see before this one goes up, as far as my video blog for the WF event. So make sure you check that out. So you guys, take it easy. Catch you next time.